What's up, online shoppers? You might be thinking about buying yourself a steamer, so I'm going to tell you why this is the one you want to have on your shelf at your house. This one here is the Conair Handheld Garment Steamer. It is the Turbo Extreme Steam that does all kinds of stuff that your regular steamer isn't going to do. First of all, this is like an iron and a steamer all rolled into one because it has a plate here at the top of the steamer that actually heats up just like an iron would. So you know when you use your iron on the feature and you iron and the steam comes out of the iron and the metal is hot and it irons the wrinkles out of your clothes? Well, this is a steamer that has an iron function built in. So this plate here will heat up and steam will come from the holes here, so you can actually apply it to a surface flat like this and use it just like a traditional iron. Right there, you have two items rolled into one. So that's cost savings and space savings. That made me so sold on this right away. Now here's another cool thing. This steamer does a pressing function. Now there's a little lever back here that you can just operate with your hand like that, and it pops this open. Why does that matter? Well, if we go like this and look, you can see that there's actually a steam vent here. And so what you do, you pop this open, you put the hem of your pants in here, and you can slide this down the hem of your pants and crease your pants. Fantastic. Now that I've told you some of the unusual aspects of this fantastic little steamer, let's talk about the not so unusual features. So first of all, it has 40-second heat up capacity. That means in under a minute, you're ready to go. Now this is a corded steamer and you get an 8-foot cord with the steamer. So it's a pretty decent length for plugging it into the wall and moving a little bit to go and steam whatever it is that you have to steam. When you plug it in and it heats up and it's ready to go, you have approximately 15 minutes of steam time before you need to refill the reservoir right here. On top of that, they do give you a couple of really handy attachments. And this is the base that the attachments get connected to. Now, this here is going to pop on to the front of your steamer like that. Now, it does take a little bit of a wiggle, so I would suggest if you're going to use this, definitely put it on before you heat up the iron. Now, this one here has a brush feature, and it also has a grabby little silicone lip. So as you're applying this down the material, that silicone lip is really going to grab at the material and straighten it out. And then this little brush is going to act like a director for the steam so that you can go down that way. And that's a really cool feature to have because that's gonna help you straighten out your fabric to really make the steam work for you. Now, if you don't want this little brush here, all you do is slide it out this way. Now, if you're gonna be steaming very delicate fabrics, you don't wanna burn it with the steam. So this here is a spacer and it goes right in this same little slot like this, into place like that. Now, when you're going down, you can maintain a uniform distance from your cloth. This will help the steamer to not scorch any of the fabric if it's particularly delicate. Now, one of the things I love about it when I've started using it is it's got a really nice, sturdy, stable base. When I put it down, even though it is very heavy on the top, it's very sturdy on the ground and it isn't easy to tip over at all. And that's definitely a safety feature that you want to have because it's going to help make it easier to operate in a way that is not going to lead to injury. One more thing I wanted to show you. I always use this brush when I am steaming really thick, heavy fabric because the bristles that are along the side here, they help the steam to penetrate the fabric well, and that makes sure that the steam that's coming out does a good job of pulling those wrinkles out. Now, a place that I have used this is on my couch because there's a spot at the back of the couch that has been driving me crazy since I bought it because the fabric's wrinkled and I couldn't get it to unwrinkle. And this Turbo Extreme Steam with this nice little fabric brush, as I was moving it down the fabric, it took the wrinkles out. Very happy about that. When it comes time to remove this little tab, again, probably a good idea to make sure that this is unplugged or at least off. I would avoid having to take this off when it's still hot because there is a chance you could burn yourself. However, this little thumb tab here does make it relatively easy to get it off. You just want to make sure that you're not going to touch with your hands because it could be quite hot. Now, I wanted to highlight something. Now, this is where that you have two vents for steam coming out. However, this is called the solar plate, and this is the part that heats up and acts like an iron, and it is 70% larger than most steamers on the market. So that gives you an advantage. As well, the 1875 watts of power make this one of the hottest plates on the market, and the hottest steam is going to be what you need to get rid of the wrinkles. And let's talk about what are the other uses for this. Maybe you didn't know this. I certainly didn't know it when I bought it, but I was super happy to find out that the Turbo Extreme Clean also works to sanitize bedrooms. So pillows, beds, mattresses. Now think about when you're traveling. What is one of your biggest fears when you're traveling that you will bring home if you end up at a hotel that has some unexpected visitors in your hotel room? This is effective in killing bed bugs. So if you took this with you when you were traveling, you could actually, if you were somebody that was concerned about it, treat your sleeping arrangements before your head hits the pillow and your butt hits the sheets. Now, how do you add the water in here? It's pretty easy. Now, there's a little lip on either side of the reservoir. Now, all you have to do is lift this up and give it a pull, and it slides out really easy, just like that. Now, here's something else that I love about the Conair steamers. They take care of us and make sure that we don't lose our lids. Remember when you were a little kid and you had mittens and you might have had strings on the mittens and it went through the sleeves of your coat so you never lost them? Well, look at this. The little tab that holds the water in the reservoir is attached with a silicone string, and you will never lose your cap. That's fantastic. Now, these fill really easy. You can just tuck that out of the way and the water goes in pretty easy like that. This does not have a max fill line on it, but you don't want to put the water up above there. So I'm almost done making a mess here. There we go. So the reservoir is going to hold 1 cup or 7 fluid ounces of water. Just give that a little wiggle to lock it in place. There we go. We're just going to dry up my mess here. Now, something else that's great about this steamer is you can actually use it upside down. You don't have to worry about water spilling out because it does have a great silicone tab here. And as soon as you put it in, it locks into place. A click tells you that it's installed properly, and you don't have to worry about water dripping out from anywhere. Now, as far as operating this goes, it's pretty straightforward. There is a power button right here, and look at this feature on the cord. It has a swivel and a cord protector so that you can actually move it quite easily and it doesn't get twisted either, and that is a highlight. So we're just going to turn it on, and they said 40 seconds for it to reach full steam. Now you can see right here, this blue button is showing us that it's heating right now. And in 40 seconds, we are going to see it ready to go. Now you can see that the red light here has lit right up to the top. And instead of this blue light flashing, it actually says that it is ready. There's actually 5 little levels right here, and that is to show you which one of the 5 steam settings you are using. Now the light up here is blue and it says ready, so we are ready to steam. There's already a little bit of steam coming out for the top, and you have to be super careful not to touch this because it is massively hot. In order to move through the settings and adjust according to the fabric you are going to be steaming, all you have to do is press that little button there, and every time you press it, it will change. So the default is on the 5th setting, which is the hottest. But when you press that setting button, it automatically drops it down to 1 light or 1 notch. Press it again, it's going to light up the second one. Press it again, it lights up the third. One more time for 4, and one more time to bring it right up to the top for 5. So this is going to be steaming at the highest temperature right here. And again, you've got the indicator light up here that tells you whether or not it's ready. And this button right here is how you get the steam to move. I'm just going to set it down here and we'll get the steam moving. Now that noise, don't be alarmed, that is the pump that is pulling water out of the reservoir and up through the steamer into the steam plate. Now, if you're operating this, that vibrating noise, that's the pump of the steamer. Now, if I want to pick it up, you can feel the vibrations in your hand. You don't have a lot of noise from this. I can definitely talk to you over top of the steamer being in operation. Now, a couple more things. If I want to pause the steam and put it on standby, I just press the button, and you can see the steam that is loaded into the head dissipates, goes away. This is still super hot though, so you don't want to touch it. If I turn this on and I'm going to use the creaser, watch this. If I open this up, now the steam comes from the top, and that's how you're going to get a really nice sharp crease on your pants. They do recommend that you use distilled water for this because regular tap water can have some minerals in it that can cause a buildup inside of your steamer. Now, you can get up to 20 minutes of steam with this steamer. It really depends on the setting. If you are using this on the lowest setting, which is the little mark here that's 1 or 1 light, you can get up to 20 minutes of steam time. This high setting that I have it currently set on, that's going to take the most amount of water, and it's going to reduce your steaming time down to somewhere about 10 minutes before it's time to refill again. Now, I love the way that this fits in my hand, and I love that I can actually hold on to it. My hand being on the handle doesn't interfere with the operation of this. Now, the weight of this one is about 2.5 pounds and maybe a little bit heavier with the extra water in it. It is definitely not a weight that feels uncomfortable in my hand to operate with one hand. Now, I like that I can use this as an iron or as a steamer, and I like that when I'm operating it in this direction, it still feels super comfortable. Now, a word to the wise, and don't ask me how I know this, you shouldn't steam on a wood table because you can turn the finish white apparently. And you also don't want to, for that same reason, steam up against a wooden door because you could impact the paint finish or the seal or stain that's on the door. So if you are going to hang something and it's up against the door, make sure there's something in between it. Maybe throw a towel over it, something like that. This Turbo Extreme hand steamer is an awesome little gadget. It has so many different pluses to it, from the fact that it can crease your pants, the fact that you can use it as an iron with this really hot solar plate, the fact that it uses just shy of 2,000 watts to heat the water and the plate for a real boost of powerful steam and heat for straightening out the wrinkles in your clothing, and the fact that it has this really cool attachments like the fabric stretcher, like the heavy brush for thick fabrics, and also the spacer for delicate fabrics. And as well, the fact that I can use this not just to get wrinkles out of my clothes, but to sanitize things like pillows, surfaces, beds, and even maybe attack bed bugs should an infestation happen. Those are all extras I didn't even know I needed, but now I'm happy that I have. As well, you want to make sure that you don't just turn it off with the power button right here. You want to make sure that you unplug it, because when it is still plugged in, the heat is still there and you could burn yourself accidentally if you weren't paying attention. So when you're done steaming, make sure you not only turn it off with the button that is at the back, but you also unplug it and allow it to cool before you put it away. And a word to the wise, always empty the water out of your reservoir before you store it. Don't ask me how I know. I think it's so well designed. I love when things are thoughtful and they work. And this one here has become a stalwart for me. I use it all the time. And this Conair Turbo Extreme Steam is definitely a family favorite at my house.